So I said, if you want to live to see tomorrow, you know, you better start frying them eggs a little bit better. Much frying, because I am tired of eating these sloppy eggs, you know. It's good, man. You want some?
Oh no, I think we just went live.
Wait, hi. Welcome to another show of next week, tomorrow. I am your host. We have a very special program for you tonight. A lot of interesting questions for us to ask science. For example, do bananas cause diabetes? You will know within a few minutes. But first, we have a very special guest here tonight. A very interesting guest. Here's Jonah Willemse with us tonight. He's going to talk to me about a very interesting project which he has been doing. Very interesting. Thank you very much for being here.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
So you've been working on a very interesting, very tough project. I heard it is a very large group. You've been working with about 9 people. A big challenge as for the stuff you had to do, as well as the budget which you had to do it with, because you had no budget. Is that true?
Yeah, that is completely true. No budget.
How did you start such an extremely interesting project?
Well, we started the project. Before we started the project, actually, we were divided into several groups. We had the stakeholders, the engineers, the finances, and the risk management. I was risk management, and we had to establish what other roles we needed in the group to work, to let the group work pretty good. We came up with the job as chairman, and I actually volunteered to be chairman. So it was my job to lead the meetings. And as you can see here, we started actually with getting just familiar with the project, with the certain terms, the certain things we needed, and getting to know Mariove, the neighborhood where the project was happening actually. And we started by making a word map, and you can see me here leading the word web. And you can see that after that, a to-do list was established, you know, and we got up the group and people could do that at home. My job was to search for some background information, and I came up with a PowerPoint presentation about the history of Mariove, when it was built, kind of. Yeah, and I did that the next meeting. So that was fun. Yeah, that's how we started.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Really interesting work. So how did your teammates, you know, while doing this project, think of your performance?
Well, actually, we have to test it. I have some 360 degrees forms sent back to me, and here are just 3 of them, and they show quite a consistent form. I think my group-focused leadership is very good. You can see here, good is crossed in. And you can also see oral presentation and also creativity being very high. And of course those are my strong points, I've already known about those. But what is also consistent, as you can see here, is that the planning and organization was a bit on the low side. They gave me a neutral, and I think that is a bit insufficient actually. They kind of mean that, but they just want to be nice. And so that would be something I have to work on, better planning the project. And that's one of the things I noticed from the 360 degrees setup. Yeah.
Very interesting.
But I think overall they like my duties as a chairman, actually. Yeah.
Right. Very interesting. How exciting.
Yeah.
It sounds like a very interesting project. And continuing, I'd like to ask you, how did you work in the expert group, and more specifically, what were your specific contributions?
Yes, well, I can elaborate a bit on that. We have, of course, the expert group, we formed them, but we had risk management, and that is a bit overall looking at the risks and the measures being put up by the expert group. So we decided to divide the groups into 3 groups, and I was put with finances, me as risk management working with finances. And while the rest of the finances were... Oh, I forgot something. Actually, these are my expert group. This is other risk management from other people. We met up once a week, more or less, and we shared information, shared risks, problems we had to tackle together, and also form a method of the risk assessment, basically. It's another nice picture of my expert group. And while I was assessing risks. The finance people, they were doing calculations, what would it cost to do the plan of the engineers, and I was looking into, well, how is it possible, how are we supposed to get money? That's a big risk, a big problem, and I looked at if you should start a company, what kind of company would that be, stuff like that. Also forming subsidies, and I kind of gave a lot of possibilities by making certain scenarios, but not really scenarios, just for every measure there are certain possibilities that could be taken by the initiator, and very flexible system I tried to put up with finance. But of course I couldn't just start writing on a board, I had to check that out with other finance people, a lot of talking, a lot of getting consensus about it, and of course talking about it when we were getting coffee and stuff like that, and then we wrote them on the board together to finish the roadmap. Small measures, taking steps and stuff like that.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
How exciting. Sounds like a very interesting, exciting project. Yes, really good. Really good. Then I'd like to continue my next question. How did you transfer your expert knowledge to the rest of the group doing this project?
Very good question. Very good question.
Thank you very much.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, we, as you saw the pictures a little bit back, we had to talk a lot. Me as a risk management, together working with finance. So me and finance, we were very close. We were talking a lot to each other. So there's a bit of interdisciplinary sharing of the knowledge. We had weekly meetings scheduled within our group that every 3 groups now created, stakeholders, engineering and finance, would come up with their founded measures and tell the other group about the process they have made, so everybody would be on the same line. And we also had a workshop we gave as risk management to the rest of the other 4 groups, and I took that opportunity actually to explain the method to some of my teammates who were present at that presentation, and I think it really helped. And it was a good way of sharing information weekly, sharing information before you write down the measure from risk management to finance. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Very interesting indeed. Really good. Wow. How exciting. This must have been really exciting.
Yeah, very
really
exciting. Very
exciting, specific experience. Great job. Really good. It sounds really good. Which brings me to my last question, which is, of course, the most important one. What were your biggest learning experiences from this project?
Well, I cannot answer that as one big experience. I have actually 3 really I'd like to elaborate on. The first was to guide the meetings, guide the group, it was very hard to work with 9 people all sharing their experience and sharing their opinions, and the first few weeks we made a very slow progress because I organized meetings with everybody present there and we all had input, and actually I thought that would make for a very fast process, but actually it was the contrary. It was a very slow process indeed, and I would change that because at the other half of the project we would divide the group up a little bit more in expert groups with risk assessment present, of course, and there the measures really came flying through the roof. We really made process in just a matter of 1 or 2 weeks, and it wasn't so time consuming as the big meetings we have, so I would start a lot sooner with that. That was one very, very important learning experience. Also how to keep a group that large together, how to create an environment where you can say everything to everybody, which is very important as well in a group. I also found the assignment pretty tough. It was very let alone assignment and very little guidance from the teachers, and I think it really works that you have to come up with the questions during coaching. It's all in your own input that is determining how the project is gonna turn out, and that's just very different. It was quite new for me, but it was nice. it was very new for me, and the experience I've had there by thinking of measures, thinking of ways how to put it on without having a planning or whatsoever, just to have just to be responsible for all that. That was a very good learning experience. Also, the interdisciplinary groups working with those, they were very hard indeed. Sharing the measures, the communication went alright, but then how to practically make measures which are intertwined really with other measures. Eventually we made that. For instance, I thought of a way to use the stakeholders as meeting with all the different stakeholders to propose them all kinds of different financial agreements. Those are the multiple solutions I was talking about earlier. And those really corresponded with the way our engineering program is set up as well. So that was also a very big learning experience for me as well. And if I would have to repeat the project, I would start that sooner. Make sure that somebody starts with measures and then think other measures with thinking about the first measure in your mind, knowing about it and just building on from there. That's something I've learned that could have been done better. Could have been done faster.
Wow, really interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting. It's been nice talking to you.
Thank you.
This isn't really water. It was great having you here. Thank you very much for being on my show.
Yes.
We have a lot more coming up. We have some questions for science. Can we make monkeys work in our factories? Really interesting question. Really exciting work. Please stay here. We have a few commercials in between, but we're going to continue. Thank you very much again. It's been a pleasure to have you here. And
yes.
Maybe I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
It's your life and I'm not gonna live it. A change is coming and it's overdue. I'm gonna take you over the limit. You know I'm only looking out for you. Get lucky, I get lucky, and I see you get lucky too. I'll be there when you get it right. That's the beauty of living my life. Alright, baby, I'm taking you back to school. Little logic fast, don't lose your head. You just turn to me instead. Alright, baby, now here we go back to school. Here we go. I wanna wear a big school letter. I wanna write poetry. Why don't you take off that big blue sweater? Come on, we'll make history. Get lucky.